History, the splendor of Cretan civilization, flipped classroom. Ancient Cretan civilization developed on the island of Crete, which, thanks to the fertility of its lands, fostered the rise of an evolved civilization in the heart of the Mediterranean Sea. The Cretans became skilled merchants and navigators over time. An advanced civilization developed in Crete, and in Knossos, the most important center, developed this magnificent palace, an architectural structure, elegant and refined. Let us immediately try to frame Cretan historical evolution in the various periods of civilization. Prepalatial age 650, 1900 BC. Archaic civilization, Protopalatial age 1900, 1700 BC. Beginning of development, Neopalatial age 1700, 1425 BC. Zenith of civilization, Postpalatial age 14 to 500 BC. Decline of Cretan civilization and art. What were the factors that determined the growth of this civilization? Certainly the introduction of olive and vine crops, in addition to the existing crops of legumes and cereals. This gave to Crete opportunity to exchange their goods and establish relations with other peoples, such as the civilization of ancient Egypt. Was geographical location another factor in Crete's success? Surely. Look, Crete. It's at the center of 3 continents, and its location favored trade. The Cretans became skilled navigators. The happiest age of Cretan civilization is the Neopalatial age, coinciding with the construction of the new and majestic palace of Knossos, which runs from 1700 BC to 1450 BC. The palace of Knossos was indeed huge and full of intricate connecting systems, a veritable labyrinth that fueled the myth of Theseus Ariadne and the Minotaur, according to which a monster with the head of a bull lived inside the palace. Between 1700 BC and 1450 BC, a full-fledged maritime empire developed, and that is the Cretan thalassocracy, which means the exclusive monopoly is the dominance of maritime trade in the Cretan civilization. For what reasons is Cretan society called palatial? Because social, economic, and religious life revolved around the palace. In the example of the Knossos palace, in fact, we must say that it had a multifunctional structure. That is, it did not have only one function. Let's see in detail. As mentioned above, it is a building with many functions. There is a large warehouse area, a representative area, the royal residence, and the craft area. The writing of the Cretans. What is the writing of the Cretans? Linear A and is hieroglyphic. It has not yet been possible to decipher it. Later, in the island of Crete, Linear B was introduced, used by the Mycenaeans, who conquered Crete. The Cretan Minoan civilization. Minoan is an expression derived from the mythical king Minos. Was Minoan civilization warlike or peaceful? Absolutely peaceful. In fact, one of the evidences is the total absence of defensive walls in the palace of Knossos. Let us make a comparison, for example, with Mycenae. Knossos, Cretan. Absence of defensive walls. Knossos is not a fortress. Refinement in architecture, colorful columns and many openings. Citadel with defensive walls. On the other hand, regarding Mycenae, more sober style Minoan influence in the arts. Cretan Knossos. The palace plays a key role and is the dominant structure of Knossos. Mycenae. The palace is impressive. It is imposing and really big, but not as big as the palace at Knossos. Thus, Cretan society is a fundamentally peaceful society, the military aspect being less important than the others, as was the culture of play and fun. We see here the typical game of bull leaping, also depicted in this famous fresco. In the game, you grab a bull by the horns, jump on its back, and have to fall back to the ground on the other side. During its apogee, the Cretan civilization developed striking paintings, animals and people being the main subjects of the Minoan frescoes. Cretan painting features scenes of rituals, banquets and ceremonies. People's daily lives represent the main theme. How did the Cretan civilization disappear? Let's say around 1425 BC. A violent earthquake caused by the eruption of the volcano on the island of Thera, Santorini, caused the weakening of this people. But historians often agree that the main cause of the end of Cretan civilization was the conquest of the Mycenaeans, who destroyed houses and palaces in Crete. After the Mycenaean conquest, the palace of Knossos was rebuilt, but its former splendor was only a distant memory. Cretan civilization disappeared, but even today the memory of such a peaceful and advanced people is more alive than ever. Flipped classroom dedicated to the ancient civilization of Crete. Thank you for viewing. Video illustrated, created and animated by Flipped Prof. Marco Mellis.